Hello fellow car lovers and potential track enthusiasts. I'm going to turn this car into a budget track car. The reason I'm making a budget track car is because, well, I'm actually on a budget. This video is going to have two purposes. One, I'm going to show you what I have been doing to my BMW and where I think I'm going to go with it building my budget track car. And two, I'm going to show you how you can start getting going tracking your own car. If you haven't considered tracking your car before, I strongly recommend that you seek professional instruction, because I'm not going to be responsible for you spinning off the track and blowing up into a giant fiery inferno of molten metal and 91 octane. So as usual, don't listen to me, do your own research. But here's what I've been doing. Let's get started with what I think to be probably the most important thing that I've done so far, and the most important thing that you will do to your potential track car. So the first thing I did was get a solid set of tires. You might notice that I'm using my OEM rims. Two reasons. One, they're a little bit beaten up. And two, you don't want to use a set of unknown or replica aftermarket rims. I trust the OEM rims that BMW makes to be durable and to be able to go up to high speeds properly. So I got a set of reps to use every day because I'm on a budget, as I said. I got BF Goodrich G-Force Sport Comp 2s. Now, you don't need to get a dedicated track tire right away. I got these because they're still very good, but I can use them every day if I need to, and they are actually quite grippy, and they're a dedicated performance tire that have a high speed rating. So that's very important. You want a tire that can go up to and past 150 kilometers an hour, right? So that is a very important aspect. The rubber that your car runs on is going to make a massive difference for you on the track. And I find that this is a very big safety issue. You do not want to use cheap rims, and you do not want to use tires that have been repaired or been patched or have had holes or anything in them. You want a good set of tires. Doesn't mean you can't use just the stock tires that come in your car, all season tires. That's fine. They just won't have as much grip. It's up to you, right? But this is what I did. And the next thing you're going to want to do is upgrade your brake pads. I just put StopTech Street Performance pads on the front of this car. You can watch that review right here. And I found that that made a massive difference for how many laps that I could do in a row. Lap 6, all right? This is 150 kilometers an hour, full braking. Oh! As I said, I'm on a budget, so I couldn't afford to do, like a 5-piston big brake kit all the way around my car. And you don't really need it because this car doesn't go very fast, to be honest. So if you're just looking to go out and track your car safely, you really are going to want to consider upgrading your brake pads. Now, proper brake maintenance is also really important too. You want to make sure that you have bled the brakes, or you've had them bled by someone who knows what they're doing. You do not want any air in the system. If you don't have a high quality brake fluid, then what will happen is the brakes get so hot, you actually develop micro bubbles in the brake fluid. Micro bubbles are air, and when you have air in a brake line, the brakes don't work. Brakes that aren't working are a really good way to make best friends with the Armco on turn 5. So you want to make sure that you have done proper brake maintenance, you've got a good fresh set of pads in there. Get someone to check the brakes out professionally, because you really want to be able to stop on the track. And you don't want to find out the hard way why I'm so passionate about this. Now I'm very excited to start telling you what I've done to my engine to make it track ready. What I have done is I have fixed it. So basically there was a lot of little things here and there when I bought the car that just needed to be fixed up. I did some stuff to the cooling system. I had some power steering leakage. If you're going to start tracking your car, don't get too wrapped up in power mods. Oh, I need this intake. Oh, I need to get this chip tune. Just make sure the car is working properly, because tracking a car puts so much stress on it. You're constantly running it near the red line, shifting really hard. Everything is just working overtime for all the laps that you're doing. So just make sure your car is working if you're actually going to start tracking it. What I'm going to do soon is I'm considering, I might eat my words on this one, putting a cold air intake in here, because I talked to a guy at the track and he had a very similar engine to this, and he said he got 11 wheel horsepower with a cold air intake. I don't believe that. So stay tuned, and you're going to hopefully see me put a cold air intake on here and see if it actually works in the real world, if I can feel a difference. So my current suspension setup is Hotchkiss sway bars in the front and the back, both adjustable, and the OEM sport suspension. Now, I find that the sway bars are a really good way to get into a position where you can tune the balance and the chassis of your car. So when you go to the track the first time, you're going to find out that your car either oversteers or it understeers way too much. With adjustable sway bars, you can start to dial in how much grip you want in the front and the back, and that's a really good way to control where you want your car's handling balance to be. The other way to do that is with proper coilovers. I don't have enough money for those because to get good track coilovers, you're looking at $2,000, right? There are cheaper coilovers out there, but I wouldn't recommend them for track usage. Sway bars are like $600 and something in Canada, which with the exchange rate right now, that's like the price of a slice of pizza in the States. So you might as well do those, and that's a good way to start adjusting your chassis. So another thing that I've done for my budget track car build, which isn't necessary but is a very welcome addition, makes shifting really, really quick and easy, is a UUC lightweight flywheel. You can see that review here. And I think what's coming up next, which I've just ordered, is a quicker diff for the rear. So not a limited slip diff, but just a different ratio. So it's going to change kind of how the power goes. And as I said, I'm going to try that cold air intake and kind of see how that goes. And then in the future, I think I'm going to do some lowering springs. I'm going to try and drop it down, and I'm going to investigate whether or not you can put lowering springs on stock shocks. There's a lot of controversy out there on whether or not this is a good idea. So I'm very interested to try it out to see if my shocks are going to blow or if it's going to be fine for long term. I'm very interested to try that out, and I'm very interested to see how much the car improves lowering the center of gravity a little bit. So please subscribe and follow along as I turn this car into a budget track car. Hopefully I'm going to do things right and I won't make mistakes, but if I do, you don't have to make the same mistakes when you try and track your own car. So stay tuned as I start doing my next steps and modifications with this car to turn it into something that is really, really enjoyable on the track, can also be used every day, and doesn't break the bank. See you later.